For this assignment, we are going to be looking at pattern. So we talked earlier about there is a difference between pattern and texture, but they are actually rather closely linked. I have at the bottom of the website this attached line and texture for pencil and pen. And so they show even pressure, graded pressure, broken line, quick drawn, which is hatching, there's cross hatching, stippling, short strokes, wavering lines, bunch of loose lines, and they have texture here, but I think we can agree some of these are very distinctly pattern. So I wanted to take a moment to really reinforce the difference between a value scaled or a value driven texture that implies texture when you draw versus just a flat pattern. So what I handed you in class was a leaf, and you don't have to use my leaves, it's just that I pressed them nice and flat so they're rather transportable. And what I'd like you to do is sketch that leaf out. Now this is the size I want. Can you make it, basically would it even out to 11 inches of area? So you can make your leaf about 5 by 6 or 4 by 7 or 6 by 5, I don't know, however you want to do it. You can make it larger, but let's keep it a minimum of a kind of an area of about 11 inches. So it fills the page a little bit. It's still, I didn't want to make it ginormous on you because you already have some homework from me. But so make your leaf. You're just going to sketch it out. Actually, hey, not too bad. I lifted it. You can lift it, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of traceable. And then you go ahead and you draw the main veins of the leaf and portion out about 6 areas. Okay, so 6 areas, 5 to 6 areas. I'll put that down depending on your leaf. I'd like 5 to 6 areas of pattern. Okay, so completed 5 to 6 areas of pattern. Your leaf will finish basically looking like this. And one thing I'd like you to try to play with is directional line and to see how pattern affects the texture of the leaf. So if you can see here, I took my line and I bent the line, and it causes the leaf to actually look like it's kind of curling. It's a little bit more rounded. Whereas when I have these even lines, it makes it very flat in that section. This section does the same thing. Can you see the directional lines go up and down? They go one way, hatched into one direction, and hatching in the opposite direction. And it actually makes it look kind of has like these corrugated ribbed pattern, or like it's raised in these rows. This is very flat. This is somewhat flat. It's got a little more going on, and this has a little bit more going on. It's got a basket weave to it. So I played with those. You can get some ideas off of this handout. Again, just print it out or take a look online or make it up as you go. But I would really like you to think about when you go to do your textures or your patterns, because we're not going to gradate these. We're not going to go from light to dark on these. Let's not use scumbling. Let's use something a little more, not regimented, but static, okay? So I could do, say, again, just play. I could do waves, but you're being a little more precise, so to speak. In one section, I would do waves through the whole thing. That line, I think it's really good for you to try to play with that. You curve the line and you let it go. Can you see how it's, by doing these even curved lines, it's causing the leaf to crown? You could try it all the way across. Whoa, I need to bend. Again, I talked about turning your paper. Your hand likes to curve with your wrist. It doesn't like to kind of curve backwards. So go ahead and turn your paper if you need to so that it will be more even. And I'm trying to view this through my camera lens as I draw. It's not as easy. So play with that. Play with directional line. Let's see, what else could you do? If you wanted to, you could do, kind of loops. So just play with pattern and see how it affects what does that section do? Does it lay flat? Does it bend? Does it go down? Does it go up? You know, what happens to it? Does it just flat out feel like, maybe it's kind of flat, but like my basket weave just really felt like it had a texture to it? Actually, if you were to darken in some of these little corners, it would really start making it look like a basket weave. Because basket weaves have those folded bits in the corners. So you can play with trying to, I just would like this as a compare contrast between texture and pattern. So you really notice the difference between the two. Okay, so 5 to 6 sections of pattern, and it might turn into a texture or it might not. It might just flat out look like a pattern. And you're doing it off of a leaf of your choice or the one you're handed, doesn't matter. But I would like it to have an area of a minimum of 11 inches. Okay, thanks.